A little video to help get you set up with your Cengage account. So the first homework assignment, HW1, Getting to Know OWL. This is where you'll also sign up and get your Cengage account. If you already have a Cengage account, you will sign in through Canvas to do it. There's no course key like you've used in the past. So when you get to our home page, there's a couple different ways you can get there. You can go down to the modules, and you've already done the welcome module. This is what we did during our synchronous time on Monday. So next Monday, the 24th of August, there will be another synchronous module for you to do. And pretty much every Monday during our synchronous time, you will have to do a quiz, watch a video, and do one discussion board. And then in the discussion board, this is where you have to write your own comment about whatever topic or, theory or something that I'm asking you to talk about. And then for full credit, you also have to comment on someone else's comment. So I know that's hard because there's always the first person who does it. There's no one for you to comment on, so you'll have to go back in a little bit and do that. So you have completed all of these. Again, if you are someone who does not have all the technology that you need, I really encourage you to go to the checkout. This is something that Mesa has put together to help get students the technology like a webcam or a computer or whatever you might need to help you out with that. So after our synchronous time on Monday, the rest of the week you will be spending on this module right here, our week 1 module. So hopefully you've gone through already and done our practice quiz 2. Again, it's a real quiz, but the questions are very easy. There's things in there like, what is your name? And what is 5 plus 2 plus 8 and things like that, just to have the questions for you to work on using Proctorio. Okay, so please make sure you've done that first. Once you've done that, then you can actually start getting into our lecture content. This is the first time we're really starting to talk about chemistry. A little bit of review from Chem 152. I have a page where I give you the list of prerequisite topics as well as, some kind of guides to help you think about questions that might be asked about them. And then I have the week 1 suggested reading from the textbook and a link to the ebook. Again, you won't be able to access the ebook until you have your Cengage account set up. So that's what we're going to do right now. One last thing, chapters 1 and 2, I do have a lecture PDF for you. It's basically a PDF of some PowerPoint slides, and on Wednesday the 19th, Wednesday the 19th, I will be posting a narrated video, a link to a YouTube video. This video is not graded, okay? It's not like our synchronous videos. It's just for your benefit. So I'm going to mainly spend the rest of this video talking about this section right here. Start here to set up in Cengage. So I have a README file that you can go through and just kind of gives you some general overall information about Cengage, what we're doing this for, why we're doing it. Also, I want to bring this up right here. You may be very confused because I kind of bounce back and forth between the words Cengage and OWL. Cengage is a publisher. It's who makes our textbook. They have their own website. And one of the programs that they have on their website is called OWL. And this is their test-taking, quiz-making, homework set-making software. And that's what we're going to be using. You'll also be able, through Cengage's website, get a copy of your ebook. Now it's an electronic textbook, which means all the same information that's in a regular physical copy of a textbook is there. Obviously, it's not a physical copy though, so if you are someone who works well with reading a physical book or highlighting and you want to keep it and take notes and stuff like that, you can rent a copy through Cengage, like a textbook as well. Or if you are interested in having your own copy, please email me and I can tell you which older versions, which are very cheap, will work for you as well. So a few things before we get started. You may have already bought an access code through the bookstore. Okay, if you did that, there's a couple extra steps you have to do. Nothing's wrong, but before you go ahead and get your Cengage account set up, you're going to need to get your access code for Cengage. When you went to the bookstore and you got your receipt, you have an access code on that receipt. That access code, unfortunately, is not for Cengage. It's for a third party who will give you your access code to Cengage. It's very convoluted. I did not come up with this system. I am sorry. Please follow the instructions on your receipt and it will tell you how to access your Cengage access code through the third party. If you have taken a course with me before or taken another course where you have a Cengage account, you may be ready to hop onto Cengage.com and run with it. However, this year we have added Cengage into Canvas. So we actually are going to be accessing accessing Cengage through Canvas. So we have a couple extra steps that we have to go through before we sign in. And then lastly, if you're someone who doesn't have a Cengage account, you don't know what the hell I'm talking about, you didn't go to the bookstore, don't worry, we're all going to start on this together. So I have some instructions for you here. You can go through them in each step, but I'm going to basically go through each of these steps right now to show you what to do. So again, I'm going to go back to the home page like I was just signing on to our page. I'm going to go to our modules, and we already did our welcome synchronous module, so I'm just going to close that out. So I'm on my week 1. I'm going to pretend that I've already taken my Proctorio quiz and gotten that all set up, and I kind of looked at some of this stuff, and I'm ready to get started with my Cengage. So I'm going to go down to homework 1, okay? Here I have another little video to kind of help you with how to submit homeworks and stuff like that, and that's after you've gotten your Cengage account set up. So go ahead and click on Getting to Know OWL. Now, all of these assignments will take you to another screen, okay? So here what ends up happening, I just tell you about some of the information, what's going on. I'm calling out, you know, the getting started and all that kind of good stuff. So whenever you want to go to Cengage, you're going to click on the little button down here, Load Homework Assignment 1 in a new page. It will open a new page into Cengage. Okay, we are here, and if you have a Cengage account, this is where you would sign in, and then you'll have to follow our steps later. I'm going to go ahead and create a new student account. So you'll you will use an email address that you know the code for, or excuse me, the password for. Sorry, as you can guess, this is not an email address that I use often. All right, once you have your email in, you'll have to go through and make a profile. Please, the name that you use here, please make it something that is close or identical to whatever the name is in Canvas. It's really hard for me if your name is Susan, but you go by your middle name, which is Mary, and you have it on there as Mary. I don't know who Mary is. It's really hard, especially since we're all doing this remotely and online. So please try and keep the name to a name that, we will actually all know. So I'm just going to call myself Test Student. Sure, let's say I was born in 45. I'll be a boomer. It's important that you pick the time zone correctly. So we are Pacific time. Even if you are remote from us and you are not in the Pacific time zone, as it says in the syllabus, all of the materials will be due at the Pacific time zone period. So it's best for you to set this up to this so that you don't have to deal with that later. Again, you can receive offers if you want, but you do have to agree to the terms and policies. Okay, an email has been sent. And from there, you'll have to click on the instructions there. Please check your spam folder. So I'm going to go over to a different tab where I have my email, and I see Welcome to Cengage. So I'm going to click on that. We have one more step, right? Activate our Cengage account. Click on this. And we need to create a password. This is a password for Cengage. You can make it whatever you want. I would strongly encourage you to write this down somewhere and keep it somewhere. Right now, Cengage, just like Canvas, just like all these other online learning systems, they are being swamped with people asking questions because everyone is online right now. So the last thing you want to do is waste time trying to get your password back because you can't remember what it is. So make a password. It's thinking really hard. So as this is loading, this is bringing us to Cengage. And this will be your student dashboard. Okay, so I want to talk about this payment before we move any further. Please, 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 as you're going through this, make sure that you actually see my name and our class here. It should say Sardo Chem 200 Gen Chem. That is definitely what you want. So please make sure you have that. What you will have to do is, if you have that access code, if you went through the bookstore and then you went through the third-party people and you have your access code, you'll click this button to enter it here. If you don't, you'll click through here. And here is your options. Now, if you have another course that you are doing Cengage with, you will have access to this unlimited. But because I am just doing a sample course, or I don't have any other Cengage classes or anything like that, I just have the basic materials. So what you can do is, there are a couple different options here. What you're going to want is the 4-month access. I know 4-month access sounds iffy, but what actually, or sorry, excuse me, the first option up here is the pay for materials individually. So this single term is misleading. Single term actually means the entire Chem 200 sequence, which means Chem 200 and Chem 201. Okay, so that Chem 201, even if you take it 2 or 3 semesters from now, you will still have access to this book, which is used in Chem 201. Okay, so all of those are the same. So that's the cheapest price to get this. If you are someone who is only going to be taking Chem 200, I know some of my engineering students only need to take Chem 200. Please email me so that we can get you set up to do I think it's a $70 option to just have access to it for Chem 200. But for most students, you should be picking this option here. You can start with a free trial. It's very easy to set up. Now, what this has done, because we're starting our free trial right now, and don't worry, it won't let you forget that you have a free trial. It will not let you forget that, and so it will let you know when you need to pay. So I would encourage you to use the free trial up until the day that you need to pay for it, just because you may decide that this is not the kind of learning environment that you want to do it in, and then you're not out $120. So as you can see, we've come full circle and we're back to our Getting to Know You OWL 1 homework assignment. So you could start your assignment now. I know that was a long process and I talked a lot through it, but it will go much quicker for you. And so this is what our OWL assignments will look like. We will have quizzes and exams on OWL as well. So doing your online homework is a really great way to not only get a feel for how quizzes and tests kind of flow, but it will lessen your stress because you already know how to kind of get in, how to make it all work. So it's kind of twofold. You could, kind of prepare yourself mentally for what's going to happen on quizzes and exams by doing your homeworks. And all of your homeworks will be available even after you've submitted them for you to take as practice. So you have these built-in kind of like practice sets as well. So you'll be able to go through and see how Canvas works. Again, you do need to do the whole question set. It is worth a full homework set, so go ahead and do get on that. When you are done, oh, real quick, one thing that's nice, unlike tests and quizzes that need to be done in one setting, you can exit at any time. Just make sure that you save it. So you could start it, do a little bit, come back to it later, start a little bit more, come back, do it later. Obviously, you want to finish it before the deadline. So these homework assignments, homeworks 1, 2, and 3, as it says on Canvas, and right here, are due next Monday at 8 a.m. When you're done, you'll hit finish assignment. Now, obviously, this is telling me I didn't finish my assignment, but I'm going to submit it for grading anyway, just so that you understand what's going on. All right, so obviously I scored a 0, but that's okay. You can go back to the assignment list. You will see other assignments that you still have available. One thing, if you want to kind of plan out your day, plan out your semester, is you can go through and look at all assignments up here. Some of these aren't available yet. In my next video, I'll talk about the Traducan trial, and we'll talk about the review nomenclature quiz in a little bit. But you can see that I have now submitted homework 1, so now I can always go back and practice it. My score will not change, but I can use it as practice. I can go on to take homework 2 or 3. So you'll always be able to go in and do that. The other thing you can do from your dashboard is also access your e-textbook. So if you go to Study Tools, you'll see our ebook here. So you can click on the ebook, and this will bring you to the ebook. So I'm just going to give you a couple little hints and tricks here in the ebook to look at, and then that will be the end of our video. So again, this is our textbook. It's just reminding you that this is what it looks like. You can take the tour if you want. It's pretty self-explanatory. Here is if you would like to rent a physical copy of the book, you can do so here. But again, you have reading in chapters 1 and 2. That is this week's assigned reading. So you can do that from right here. Here are the subsections of the textbook. Section 1.2, 1.3, 4, 5, 6, so on and so forth. And then what's really nice is at the end of the ebook, there's all this practice in addition to everything else. So again, if you are someone who wants additional problems, you can go through and try different practice problems. If you want to try some integrative problems, right? These are more like challenging problems, plus it will give you the answer, okay? So these are really great resources for you. There are also going to be some videos embedded in portions of this material as well. So if you go into a unit, just like you would a textbook, all this kind of great information as you're reading your text, images. Now, one thing students like in here is you can have this notes section, you can highlight stuff, but please remember on tests and quizzes, you will not have access to the ebook. You will not be able to open other tabs to look at your notes, so they have to be physical notes. So I would encourage you when you're doing your readings to actually have a physical notebook open to take notes with. Okay, so that's our ebook, right? Again, you can find it through Study Tools. Here's assignments. This is where you will find all your things. All assignments shows you everything that will be populated. In the next 2 weeks, I will basically have the entire semester populated out. So if you want to kind of have an idea of when quizzes, other assignments are coming, all that kind of stuff, you can look at it, but you won't be able to take them till they're available. If you leave it on the default of the assignments I can take now, you'll only see the assignments you can actually take. And then assignments I can practice are ones that you've submitted. Gradebook is pretty straightforward. It will tell you what your grade is for each of your assignments. And then again, Study Tools is how you will access your ebook. We won't be using the adaptive study plans, but if you want to use these, I believe you will have access to them. And they're just kind of like pre-quizzes and stuff to kind of help you with different materials. So again, this is another useful resource to you if you would like to have additional study tools. So let's go back to our OWL. We're submitting this, so ideally when we are done with this, this grade will be submitted. And as you can see, I have my grade. Obviously, I got a 0 on it because I didn't do any of the work, but it will automatically populate that grade from your Cengage account into your grade book. So once you submit it, it should go. Please be aware that for some of the assignments, it might not show your grade until the entire time period for it has passed. So if it's due on the 24th at 8 a.m., you might not see your grade till the 24th at 8 a.m. in the grade book. You will always be able to see it in Cengage. So that's the end of our video for this. Please let me know if you have any questions. I'm hoping this will help clear up any confusion moving forward. So again, when you go to do your modules, you're going to start right here. Click on HW1, getting to know OWL, and going through that process.